Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's episode of I'm Gin the Mood. This is the second time I filmed this intro because my camera decided to die when I was filming originally, so that's fun. Luckily I hadn't actually got onto the gin review, so we didn't really lose that much footage. What's new this week? I've redone my gin shelf. If you follow my Instagram, you'll probably have seen it on there, but basically the gin shelf before was split between two shelves, so it didn't look as impressive, because the bottom shelf had a printer on it, so half of it was printer, half of it was gin, and then the second shelf had books on it, and then half of it was empty bottles to be used to infuse gin in. So I moved it all onto the same shelf and put fairy lights on it, and now it looks quite cool. So I'll put some pictures in, but if you haven't already, go check out my gin Instagram where I post gin, surprisingly enough. If you follow my gin Instagram, you would have seen that I ordered lots of miniature Whitley Neill gins in the last week. I'm running quite low on gin, and I thought, why not just order a load of miniature gins, so then I have lots of different gins to taste for my gin reviews. I have about 8 little bottles of Whitley Neill gin, which I'm quite excited about because 1, I've never had Whitley Neill gin before, and 2, there's quite a few flavours in this that I haven't tried either. For example, I have never tried this one, so this is a blind review and I'm slightly scared. So for this week, we are reviewing Whitley Neill handcrafted quince gin. I've never had quince before, and until about 4 hours ago I didn't actually know what quince was, so we're off to a great start. The juice of the Turkish quince adds apple sharp, pear sweet, high notes to soothe gin base. That doesn't actually sound too bad. I quite like the sound of that. This gin is 43% volume. This whole little bottle is 2.2 units, and it's also a 5 centilitre bottle. It's a little baby one. We're going to do the sniff test first. That doesn't smell too bad actually. I was concerned it was going to smell quite strong and bitter or something, but no, that... You can smell a lot of gin, which is always a good thing. It smells quite... I guess it is like a sharp but sweet sort of smell. I guess it kind of does smell a little bit like apples as well, like a sweet apple. It's kind of what it smells like. So, we are going to be doing half a shot. As you know, I have a strong hatred for gins that lie to you when the bottle is a certain colour and the gin comes out clear. This one has come out looking a little bit like apple juice. As you can see, it does kind of look a little bit like apple juice. Why does it always smell stronger when you put it in the glass? You just get like a pure whiff of alcohol. But you don't get that when you sniff it in the bottle for some reason. As soon as it's in a gin glass, it's intense. Again, we are using Diet Lemonade by Sainsbury's. Other supermarkets are available. We just happen to have gone to Sainsbury's. So I know that I do like tonic water now, but I personally prefer reviewing gin with lemonade just because I feel like tonic water, again, I talked about this in last week's review, I feel like tonic water tends to cancel out or dumb down the flavour of the gin. So just for flavour purposes, I'm going to continue reviewing with lemonade when it comes to just reviewing like the base gin. Obviously, wacky mixers will be on their way shortly. I'm measuring how much lemonade's going in here. I don't know how much, what is the ratio of mixer to gin meant to be? I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna put another shot of lemonade in. It's kept its colour quite well. It still looks like apple juice, which I quite like because I am a big fan of apple juice. Obviously you've now got the sweet smell of the lemonade coming through, which kind of works quite well with the quince. It still smells really appley. I did not expect this to smell appley. Again, it does say it has apple and pear qualities to it. Okay, we're gonna try it. It's quite sour. Like, you know the sensation you get on your tongue after you've had like sour Skittles or something? That's the exact same sensation that you get with this gin. It's actually really nice. See, it smells like apple, but it kind of tastes a little bit like pear cider. This feels like the sort of gin that you'd have at like a county show or something. Because it's quite a hearty sort of gin, if that makes sense. Like it's got a lot to it. It's not like, you know, a light gin. It's quite heavy, I suppose, the flavour. It's the sort of gin you have to be in the mood for. You can't just be like, oh, I might have Quince gin. Yeah, it's quite like a bitter and sharp, but also there's sweetness in it. And it just tastes sour. But I kind of like it. It's definitely a very interesting gin, and it's not what I was expecting it to taste like, but it is actually quite a pleasant drink. I can just imagine being at, you know, a county show, just sat on a hay bale or something, drinking this gin out of like a takeaway cup or something. That's what this sort of gin reminds me of. See, this gin genuinely tastes like apple cider and pear cider mixed together. It's quite an interesting flavour. That's all I have to say on it. It's like, it's interesting. Now I would definitely recommend that if you haven't tried Quince gin, get a little miniature and give it a little go, because you can't knock it until you try it. It's just it's an interesting gin. That's the takeaway from this episode, guys. Quince gin is interesting. No, I would definitely recommend it. It's like every single time you take a sip, you get a different sort of flavour from it. Like when I first took a sip, it tasted quite sour, but you get like the sour sensation on your tongue and at the back of your throat, whereas like at the front of your tongue, you kind of get like the sweet flavour coming through. Heck, you know what? I like this gin. I like it. I might buy a big bottle one day. If you haven't checked out my Instagram already, please do. I will put a link down in the comments, and as always there is a link to it on my channel. I just post pictures of gin on there. I mean, if you're watching a gin review, what more could you want? So I will see you all next time, where I will be reviewing more miniature Whitley Neill gins. I promise you I'm not sponsored by them. I just thought it was a great deal, so I ordered them. So I'm having a little bit of a Whitley Neill theme at the moment, but it's fine because they all look great, and plus the bottles are adorable. So I will see you all next time.